Hi, welcome back to Bible Basics. Not in my basement, right? I am continuing on, and we're attempting to start part two. I have talked about the second coming. I have dealt with all of that different aspects, the who, what, when, where, how, why, all those type of questions, except for I didn't talk about the how. I left that out because I don't want Joel to have any extra fuel for our debate coming up. And so that reminds me, yes, we're having the debate on the 3rd and the 4th in the evening, and everybody's welcome to join in and watch. It'll probably be through David Gates and his YouTube channel, Preterist Network, Christian Preterist Network, I think it is. And so that'll be coming up here right at the beginning of the year to start that. And it's with, of course, Joel Sexton. That debate is coming up. Then I said on Monday, this next Monday, if that serves me right, let's look at the dates for that would be the 10th and the 11th. 10th. I will be doing Facebook Live on 10th at 7 o'clock for everybody. And open for questions about my book. In my last video, I introduced and talked about that. I've published my book. You can find it on Amazon.com. It's called Middleism Eschatology, and of course you can find it under my name, Stephen Whitsitt. It's there. And you can find also through my YouTube channel and on my other links to my Facebook pages and my middleism.org website. And then also I've started a blog and a bookstore for Christians on elishasbones.com. So both of those things are there for as resources. Now, getting into today's topic, I want to talk about the second part of the second coming, which is the second aspect, maybe you could say, is the resurrection of the dead. Now, the resurrection of the dead, I want to look at that phrase to begin with. That phrase in the Greek is Anastasis nekron, and it literally means the standing again of a corpse. Now, preterists changed that nekron to mean dead ones, and I think there is only one vague reference to dead ones that is ever used in some translation or somebody's explanation, but the most common thing all the way across the board that nekron is used as in a dead body. It is from the word that we get necrophilia, necromancy, necro, anything whatsoever. Those are all words that deal with a dead body, like necrophilia, the love of a dead body. So that nekron is specific to meaning a dead body, not dead ones in Hades. That is completely a false thing that's used to distract from the truth of what that word really means. And again, Anastasis nekron. Anastasis means the standing again. Now, what was laying down that it's now standing again? And that is talking about a dead body. This is the way the term was used in a technical sense. In other words, John died, Joe Blow died, and Jesus raised him from the dead. His body is now standing again like Lazarus. It is now standing and walking again. Matthew 27, 52, 53. And the tombs were opened up, and many of the bodies of the saints came out and were seen walking around again. So when somebody saw this dead body walking again, they said, Anastasis nekron, a dead body is standing again. And it is specific to that term. In the literal sense of what happened with Jesus, what happened to those in Matthew 27, the saints, all the way across the board. You cannot turn that into dead bodies coming out of Hades, because dead bodies aren't in Hades, and you can't use it to talk about the soul, because what does John say? All the voices in the tombs will hear his voice and come out. We're talking about the bodies. When Jesus stood in front of Lazarus' tomb, what did he say? Lazarus, come forth. Lazarus, come out. And Lazarus' body stood again and came walking out. Everybody said, that's a resurrection of the dead. We also have Isaiah 26:19. The earth will give birth to the dead. Your dead bodies that have turned to dust will come back and walk again. This is an Old Testament reference to that. And you can't get away from it when it's talking literally in that regard again, of course, of a dead body coming back to life that was turned to dust. And now people have sat there and tried to argue that, well, there's no way that a dust body that's been eaten by lions or lost in the sea or something else can be reconstituted. And do you guys realize that is an argument that's been being made by silly people for 2,000 years? That God somehow can't bring back the body because it's been eaten, it's been lost at sea, or whatever the thing is. It's interesting to note that even in Revelations 20, it says, and the sea gave up their dead. Well, what are they talking about? Spirits are in the sea? No, we're talking about the dead bodies who have been lost at sea. They come forth out of the sea. The spirit comes out of Hades. The body comes from the grave, water, wherever it's back, and the two are united together. And this is what we call resurrection, where they come back to life. The body comes back to life. And this is specific all the way through 1 Corinthians 15. What it is talking about by reference of beginning to talk about what happened with Jesus. It was his body that was resurrected and came back to life. So, with that said, I'm closing this up and keeping it short. Thank you for listening. And that is the basis of my first argument. We'll get into the other one later on. Thanks.